Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bill Hanson and Gypsy Williams Show,
where we help you turn your wedding dreams of sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
And we'll turn them into reality that will create oohs and ahs from all of your family and friends.
Bill Hanson has catered over 10,000 weddings, starting back in the 1960s. And at 74 years young, y'all, he's not retired, he is refired. His South Florida weddings at Villa Woodbine, the Sky Museum and Gardens, Steering Estates, and over another 500 venues are sought after with those with very distinctive tastes.
Oh, you go, girl. I love that. I love that. So Gypsy, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. That's what she's all about. And Gypsy, she's seen the good, she's seen the bad, she's seen the not so good, and she's also seen the ugly. So with her experience, she knows what works at weddings and she knows what doesn't work. So let's get started. Gypsy, back to you, girl.
Alrighty. Well, we know that music is such an important element in the style and the mood of a wedding. There are so many questions on how to select the right music to create a beautiful, memorable wedding. Our guest today is Alan, and I'm so bad if I mispronounce your last name. Is it Andia? Did I say it wrong? Anda. Okay, with AA musicians. Close enough. His years of experience in the world of music and entertainment will guide you on how to create a wedding with amazing music that will have your guests dance the night away. Let's welcome Alan to the show.
Yay, Alan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, I've known Alan, it seems like forever. It's been at least 10 years, Alan, since we have worked together. I recalled one event we did for Bank United going back maybe 10 years, and that was the first exposure I ever had with you. So with that being said, Alan, tell us a little bit about the services that you offer. What is it that you would offer a couple when they come to you with their wedding dreams and plans?
Sure, absolutely. And first off, thank you for inviting me. I'm super honored to be a guest. We actually go back 12 years.
Wow, oh my Lord.
Really amazing to see the journey that we've come through. We're a full custom design service entertainment provider where we provide live entertainment musicians. We have DJs, we have full band productions, as well as lighting solutions. So it's a really convenient one-stop shop concept where instead of the client having to piecemeal with 3 or 4 different companies, they can conveniently book all of their service through us. And it just really gives them a worry-free experience when it comes to at least the music aspect of their wedding.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that what most couples want? They want that stress-free, worry-free experience, you know, and turn their excitement into a dream. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for the answering that, Alan.
So Alan, what's the biggest mistake a couple makes when selecting the music and entertainment for their wedding? How does that actually impact the wedding?
So that's a great question. Our goal is to make sure that we hit every single pain point and every single small detail, which sometimes could be overlooked. So to avoid any surprise or guesswork or avoid the mistakes, especially at a wedding, you only have one shot to do it. There's no, okay, let's do it tomorrow and fix this. So we've created a custom design form that literally takes every single part of the wedding, puts it on paper. It's from beginning to the very last dance. So it just makes sure through all our experience and learning through the previous mistakes, we're able to implement those in the form. So as long as the clients communicate every single detail, we're able to pick up and see if there's any missing holes to really make sure that we avoid having mistakes the day of.
That's so true, Alan. It's usually the little things that get you. You know, it's the mosquitoes and the gnats and the no-see-ums as opposed to, I don't know if you're like me, but I've never been bitten by an elephant. Have you?
We did a and where they brought an elephant.
Right.
Yeah. I remember George Batchelor, wonderful man. I think it was his 75th birthday party. He rode in to his party in the driveway of his mansion, and he was perched atop an elephant, 75 years old, you know.
Wow, that's
unbelievable. So one of the things that we encounter a lot is couples have these dreams of going on and on till 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And many of the venues have curfews. Some, like Villa Woodbine, my venue, it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, everything stops. So how do you work around the curfews and with the various venues? So what suggestions would you have to couples who have selected a venue where there is a curfew of 11, midnight, or 1? Tell us how you deal with that.
Well, you mentioned Villa Woodbine. It's one of our favorite venues to work at. We really feel that that place is one of our home extensions. And obviously you have the curfew. And one of the most important things is sticking to the timeline. When clients are aware that there is a hard cutoff stop that is a non-negotiable, we clearly have that conversation before, and it's really about maximizing the amount of the celebration time. So our DJs, we've taught them and we've trained them to be able to control the tempo and the flow of the wedding, where if a speech tends to go over than it probably should, they're able to kind of pick up the pace. So that way we really maximize the dance segment, which is really an important key element to get the logistics done in a non-rushed way, but get it done quickly. So that way, once we finish all the logistics, microphone gets put away, and then we get the dancing part done as quickly as possible. So just
that's why we sorry.
Go ahead.
And that's why we love working with you, because I've had some DJs at the Villa who refused to stop at 11 o'clock. And unfortunately, on one instance, I had to go over and unplug the music because we have neighbors and we love our neighbors.
I think that's a great point in the sense that there's, especially in the South Florida market, it's a huge industry, but when it comes down to the really good apples, you tend to see the same companies appear on Instagram posts and featured magazines. Those are the ones that have really risen to the top, and they're usually, for us, we have a full-time exclusive professional quality clause, which means we're not hiring your part-timers or what they call the weekend warriors for the extra cash. And it just really brings and defines the difference between a professional that's doing this for their livelihood, that's going to respect not only the bride and groom or the couple's wishes, but also respect the house rules of the venue. Because at the end of the day, we are at your house and we're at everybody else's house, and we say it's their house, their rules, and that's the mentality that we really go through.
Yeah, I've done that before, where I've pulled the plug. I'm like, sorry, y'all, we're done. We're done. So moving on along, the number of guests, how does that actually impact when it comes to, for instance, in a band, like how many musicians? Like sometimes I'll have brides that have a maybe 60 guest count, but they want the full 12-piece band, or they want a band and the DJ. Do you, first of all, how do you accommodate that? Is it a one-to-one case, the number of guests with the band, and then can you do a combo of both? Do you suggest that, or what do you suggest?
Right. So we are a custom design source. So one, our priority is to hear the client's needs and what their wants are. We obviously, with our experience, are able to kind of guide them and do a little bit of hand holding and recommending a specific size ensemble per guest anticipation. And really, the live ensembles, it's more, especially acoustically, you want to have the right sound per guest anticipation. So our goal is to recommend a specific size that's not only going to give the right sound quality, but also have that visual aspect. So obviously going larger, you're going to have a much more impressive visual experience, but the sound quality will be a lot more grander. If we see that the clients are asking for a solo violin and they have a 150 guest count, obviously that's not going to hit the expectations and the sound quality that they're envisioning or what they've heard probably on a demo. So that's where we'll come in and just kind of guide them to make sure that they are going in that right direction, so that when they are finally at that experience, you know, they're going to see it, the guests are going to feel it, and that's what really makes sure that their event goes exactly the way they're imagining how it'll sound and look at the same time.
So Alan, one of the questions that we encounter a lot as bridal planners and as a caterer myself is, should they hire a DJ? Should they hire a band? or perhaps hire both? How do you advise them? And of course, the budget also comes into play at that point. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with band, DJ, as well as dealing a little bit with the budget part?
Yeah, that's a great question. Whenever we do a band production, non-negotiable, we include our DJ as part of the band. And that just ensures that you're getting the filler music covered when the band takes their breaks according to the timeline. It also gives the flexibility that if clients have specific songs that they want to hear by the artist, we're able to accommodate that as opposed to the band arrangement, which our bands get pretty close to how the artists sing, but obviously you can't replicate it to the way the client or the guests are used to hearing it. We always gauge on the venue, the space limitations, power, how many guests count is a great balance on, do we go with the full 12, 15 piece band or do we scale it back to 6 or 7? That's the great thing about weddings is every wedding is a unique, one-of-a-kind experience. So having that flexibility with us where they can really customize it, we can, again, guide them in saying, based on what you're telling us, it sounds like maybe the DJ is a route, maybe the band is a route. Obviously, what's popular in South Florida is the DJ live concept where you can complement the DJ with live musicians, and that's something that we've provided for many years. So if we're not able to find either the perfect band or they're thinking the DJ is just not enough elements, we can meet them in the middle and provide them with a service that's going to hit what they're looking for.
I have a quick story. You reminded me about a wedding that I catered about 25 or 30 years ago. This was long, long, long before we worked with you. And the bride wanted the band to play Billy Idol's White Wedding, okay? Which all I can say is they would have been much better off if they just played the recording rather than let the band sing it, because they massacred that song.
We had a wedding and we have clients that have sometimes peculiar tastes or they have a specific song that they've always wanted that to be their song. And I'm the type of person that I'll hear it. And we've gone to lengths where if we can't even find the sheet music, we'll actually hire a recording studio up and write out the sheet music. And unless we feel that we're not going to be able to execute it, no is usually not in our vocabulary. We really try to accommodate any request, but we're the first person, and we run our company very honest and transparent to say, this is probably not going to come out the way that you're used to hearing it. So we should either go with audio tracks or we should do some supplementation. And a great example is a really obscure song, and it was like 100-piece orchestra with a band, and the client was trying to accommodate that with like a 3-piece group, and we knew it wasn't going to happen. And fortunately they followed with our recommendation. We used the backing tracks with the live musicians, so we got that full effect. And as long as the clients are open to hearing our expertise and getting our judgment and having an open mind, that's usually when you have successful weddings.
Awesome.
With music, as we mentioned earlier, that it's one of the elements in creating a wedding and the whole, as one of the parts. How do you create an exceptional wedding through music? And as Bill likes to say, what's your secret sauce on it? What's the secret on creating this beautiful and amazing wedding through music?
Oh, the secret sauce is you have to book us, and then you get to experience.
Good one. I like that.
You like KFC? What's the secret sauce as well?
What is it? 12 blend spice. So
yeah,
obviously we've been really fortunate the past 12. My background is I'm a musician. I come from a family of musicians, and I've played at Carnegie Hall. I played in Madison Square Garden, Ellington Festival. So I come as not just an agent, but really a musician, and being where our musicians were. So everything that we do is focused on the music element. And then on top of that, over the past 12 years, we've been really fortunate. We've produced thousands of events. So we bring that amount of experience into it. Our big key word is listening to our clients. As long as we know what they're looking for, and we have as many, we're not the company that just books you and then good luck, we'll see you there. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of hand holding. We really make sure that before we show up to the wedding, at least a month out, we already know what the expectations are. We have all the information in our system. So the night of, it's really just reading the energy of the crowd, engaging on the type of music they are responding to with the preference sheet that our clients give us. But it's really having all of those platforms and systems beforehand that really, I guess you would say, is a secret sauce to ensure that we're going to do the best ability that we can to make sure they have their amazing one special occasion of their life.
For all of us in the business, Alan, we all have, let's say, one of the most memorable experiences. For me, it goes way back to 1987 in September, when I had the honor and the privilege to cater both for Pope John Paul II as well as President and Mrs. Reagan. That was at Villa Vizcaya. How about you? What was the one memorable event where you'll never, ever, ever forget it?
Well, first, we always say it's an honor for any client that ends up securing us, whether how small, if it's a 2-person dinner event, or, you know, our 1,000+ galas. But one that comes to mind, we did an 800-person wedding at the Fontainebleau. It's on a Monday night. The bridal party consisted of 100 members. And every detail at that wedding was completely spelled out way before. They had a composer out of Israel that composed for every 10 groupings in the bridal party or the wedding party. They had a specifically composed original piece for each group. So we had a 80-piece symphonic orchestra for the ceremony that combined a choir from New York. And then after the ceremony was done, we combined about 30 pieces of that orchestra with the house band. So it was about a 50-piece wedding band. And it was just one of the most over-the-top weddings. It's something that we had rehearsals and recordings prior, and it was just 4 producers. There was many different countries involved, many different regions, and just to see everything come together and play out, that was definitely one that really, you know, comes to mind based on that question.
Wow.
Wow, 100 in the wedding party. I thought in Tennessee, when we've had 24 bridesmaids, 24 groomsmen, I thought that was big. You topped it off. Oh my goodness. We've learned so much right now in regards to how music is so important. Because it's a live production, as you agreed. You know, as you mentioned, it's an actual live production. It's like a television production and so forth. With everything that's going on now with our current, you know, global situation, there are a lot of smaller weddings now taking place. What's one major piece of advice you have for your couples right now at this point?
Right. So what's interesting to us is, and we call it the intimate weddings, they're not a stranger to us. We've actually, well before all this happened, have a lot of exposure to doing weddings with 8 guests, 20 guests, 50 guests. We consider anything under 50 to be kind of on the intimate side. And what's really great is the smaller weddings are just as fun as the large weddings. We don't base the guest count as a metric on whether or not you're going to have an amazing wedding or not. One of the things that we always tell our clients at some point during or right before the wedding is that this is hopefully a once-in-a-lifetime occasion, and you'll never have, and I'm confident to say this, that you'll never have that many guests, that many friends and family members in one room for the rest of your life. And so whoever is able to show up, whatever style of wedding you are planning on doing, it's something that it goes by very quickly. And I think a lot of people miss that point. So just enjoy every moment. The ceremony to us, and that's probably what put us on the map, is we put a lot of attention to the ceremony. That song that when you're walking down to your fiance needs to be on point and perfect, and there cannot be any issues, because a lot of people forget that what happens during the ceremony sets the tone on how the rest of the wedding is going to be. So we really make sure that every detail has a lot of attention put to it, and just enjoy it. Soak it in. Don't let the small details bother you. It's really your day to have such an amazing time and experience it. You're taking your relationship to that next level and starting your family and your life. So we just say to enjoy it. And, that's really the essence of what the wedding is being part of that friends and family all together.
Alan, you've been a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous guest.
Yes.
And both Gipsy and I and the rest of my team, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We've enjoyed working with you over the years. And today, I think you have shown our viewers a number of ways where the music can make their wedding even more spectacular. It is an important element of the wedding. So again, Alan, thank you, thank you, thank you. And for all you viewers out there who are watching this, we want you to tune in next week because we're going to have another industry expert on board. Now, if you want to reach Alan, it's Alan. This is a tough one. So it's Alan, A-L-A-N, at aamusicians.com. Gipsy and I welcome your questions. You can email them to us, Bill at Bill Hansen Catering. And also, let's face it, if you like this video, since we're somewhat new at this, we would love to have your comments, your questions, your concerns. If you liked it, there's a little button somewhere on your screen. Click like. And if you like it even more, share it with some others. And finally, we'd love to have you subscribe because this is just the beginning of a new adventure for Gipsy and I, something that will be continuing for a long, long, long time in the future. So again, thank you. Praise the Lord. God bless everybody and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alan. And hit that like button, y'all. Hit like.